Hey, it's your man Rob Myers, and I'm the Kitchen Sink Cook, and welcome to my Taste of Home episode. A very special episode for me, and I know I've said that before, but this one is special because when I say Taste of Home, I'm not talking about North Carolina. I love my home here, but I'm talking about my original home, down bottom, Miami, Florida. Yeah, baby. From this point forward, you are members of the Kitchen Sink Cook community. You're all committee members of a worldwide organization of dads, moms, brothers, sisters, partners, friends, and family members who like to cook, but more importantly, love to eat. To truly embody kitchen sink cooking, you have to lean into your own imaginations and let creativity take over. In this kitchen, the only rule is to have fun. Now that the ground rules have been laid, put your aprons on, or not, make an awesome playlist, and become one with your kitchen. It's time to cook. So for those of you that have seen the show before, you know that we typically end the show with a cocktail. But for this one, we need to start with it because we're making a tropical sangria. And for that sangria, we want those fruits and those juices and that alcohol to have a chance to permeate and percolate. So we're gonna start by cutting up our pineapple. And I've actually saw this trick on TikTok. So thanks for that, TikTok. You just cut the top off. And then you just quarter it. Cut it in fours. So once right down the center. Then lay it on its flesh side. Cut it a second time.
Yummy.
And now you have 4 equal parts. And you just take each one. Make slits so you get close to the edge, and then you just stand it up, come back again, and then slice straight down. And as we do that, we're just going to get that pineapple right into our container. And once we get that done, we'll continue to build our drink. So we'll start with 1 bottle of your favorite bubbly. Now you can use a white wine, you can use a Moscato. If you're doing a wine, then you would need to substitute that bubbly for the champagne by using sparkling white grape juices, which is what I use. So I just have 1 bottle of Moscato. I love that sound. And then I've already got my pineapples in, so now I'm going to add some mangoes. You can put whatever fruits you like, but since we're home and we're talking about Miami, I'm using some tropical fruits.
Yummy.
Then we're going to go in for our bubbly. And remember I said right now, we're going to be using a sparkling white wine or white grape juice. Glug. And then we're going to finish that off with some guava nectar.
Yummy.
And we're going to let that set and continue on with our meal. Hey Kitchen Sink fam, if you're feeling my hat tonight, make sure y'all check out my friend, my brother, my barber, D Battle, creator and mastermind behind Only Intentional Living at onlyintentional.com. For my fried cabbage, you'll need 1 medium onion sliced,
a third cup of bacon crumbles, 2 teaspoons of your favorite hot sauce, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, a half a teaspoon of kitchen sink seasoning, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, and 2 tablespoons of honey to round out all those flavors.
This next dish for me has double meaning because when I think about cabbage, not only do I think about those Caribbean influences, but I also think about living in the South. You know, when you want an alternative to some collard greens, ain't nothing like some good old cabbage. And it goes well with everything. So let me show you what I do with mine. So first, I just chop up some onion. Because like I said, onion makes everything taste better. And it doesn't matter how small or big you like your onions because it's going to saute down anyway.
Yummy.
Then after that, we'll start working on our cabbage. So I like to do mine in thin shavings.
Now some people like their cabbage diced, but I prefer long strips. I feel like it just tastes better. It definitely looks better on the plate. But do what you feel, I ain't judging. Well, maybe just a little.
So now that we got our cabbage chopped and washed, and when I say washed, I just mean warm water. Don't be like those people online that be washing your food with soap. We're gonna go ahead and get into our skillet and get it cooking. So we'll start with our olive oil. Then we'll move into our cabbage. And don't worry about overcrowding the pan because if you cook with cabbage before anything green, you know it's gonna wilt down. So it will be all right. We're gonna get it all in there. Then we're gonna add our onions.
Yummy.
And again, you know those onions are gonna cook down also. It's gonna give you those aromatics that I'm always talking about. And for the rest of our seasonings, we're gonna start with, of course, kitchen sink. And our hot sauce for a little kick. Our lemon juice, which will even out those flavors. Then bacon bits for a little smoky flavor. And then my secret ingredient, some honey.
Yummy.
Because people in South Florida, we like our sweet with our tangy. And then we're gonna just get that to the heat and let that start to cook down.
For my shrimp fritters, you'll need 1 pound of medium shrimp peeled and deveined, 1 small onion chopped alongside half a green, red, and yellow pepper for flavor and color, 1 cup of flour, half a cup of milk, 1 egg, and then season to taste with cayenne or seafood seasoning or kitchen sink seasoning.
So now we're gonna get started with our shrimp fritters. And this is called a taste of home because if I was really at home in Miami, this shrimp would be kump. And no disrespect to North Carolina, y'all got barbecue on lock, but seafood, I prefer from down bottom. So we're gonna start with our shrimp. And I just got a pound of small or medium sized shrimp. And I just like to slice it in half, sometimes into thirds, depending on how big the pieces are. Because I like to get a chunk in every single one of my bites of my fritter. I don't want my fritter to be full of batter. We want our meat.
Yummy.
In my cookbook, we do a shrimp cake. And to me, the biggest difference between a shrimp cake and a shrimp fritter is that in a fritter, you want to do the bite-sized chunks that I talked about, but in our cakes, we do more minced. So I put it out in a food processor, and it just gives it a different texture. And even though you're still using shrimp, totally different flavor experience.
Peep how this cabbage is looking now, y'all. As you can see, it's starting to wilt down. So you just want to keep folding those ingredients around to make sure everything is playing nice together in the pan and so the bottom doesn't burn. Now put that top back on them and get back to those fritters though.
So in between cutting up our shrimp and moving on to our peppers and onions, I just went and checked on the cabbage and I turned it down to low because they're really doing their thing now. So we're gonna get the shrimp, now that it's been cut up, into a large bowl. Then we're gonna move on to our peppers and onions. So I like to use a green pepper, red pepper, and yellow pepper. And for this, there's really no right or wrong way to cut them. You just want to make them into small, bite-sized pieces. Not too big.
Tú sabes dónde me gusta a mí. Miami.
So now that we got our peppers and onions mixed up, we're going to add those to our bowl with the shrimp. And we're going to get our fritters going. One thing about South Florida, we love colorful food. Lots of vibrant color. Lots of vibrant talk too. So funny, people from South Florida are so uniquely different from people from Florida that you will often hear them say, no, I'm not from Florida, I'm from Miami. And there's a difference. There's actually a viral video that talks about the very same thing. So we'll keep building our fritters. We got our peppers and onions in with our shrimp. Then we'll add our flour, which will act as the binder. Then our milk. And our egg. And you could be done from here, but if you like your fritter a little spicier, you can add your favorite hot sauce or some cayenne or your favorite seafood seasoning. Then you get that stirred up until the fritter starts to form. You'll see that paste starts to thicken.
As you start to mix your batter, if it appears too wet, add a little more flour. If it seems too dry, add a little more milk. What you want is a nice paste to form, slightly sticking to the spoon as you stir it. After that, I like to let my batter rest. As the grease heats up, this is also a good time to sprinkle a little more seasoning to your batter, mostly for aesthetic, but your taste buds will thank you too.
Miami.
So now that we got our fritters in the pan, let's go check on our cabbage. It should be about done.
Oh yeah, that's it. This is the way I like my cabbage. Soft and supple, but not soggy. It still got some give to it. They're gonna pair up nice with those fritters and the plantains. Turn that heat off and let them keep steaming as we fry up our fritters, and they'll be ready to eat.
You want to let those fritters cook on each side for about 3 to 5 minutes until you start to see it golden brown. And as you kind of test it with your spatula, you'll feel it start to harden around the edges, enough for you to be able to make that flip. And if you're not confident in flipping them with just a spatula, you can use a spoon to assist.
Now that those fritters are done, you want to drain them on a cooling rack. Because like I told y'all, when we fry, we want our food to stay crispy, and paper towels are a sin. Amen? All right, I think we got a question from a friend.
Maisa wants to know, what type of sauce do you like on your various types of fritters?
In my house, we put this on everything. But you don't always feel like going to your favorite restaurant to get it, and the grocery stores are always sold out of it. No worries, I got a solution. All you need is a half a cup of mayo, 2 tablespoons of your favorite barbecue sauce, 2 teaspoons of honey, and 2 teaspoons of mustard. Then whisk it up until your wrist gets tired. Put it on chicken, fries, corn dogs, fritters, even fried rice. And it's kid approved. You can thank me later. Now back to the show.
Now, I know shows like Miami Vice and Golden Girls make you think about retirees and snowbirds from New York. But my Miami, the true Miami, is full of culture. It's full of vibrancy. It's full of awesome flavors. When I think awesome flavors, I think plantains. When I think about plantains, I think about Haitians. I think about Puerto Ricans. I think about Jamaicans. I think about Cubans. And all those cultures have influenced how we eat our food in Miami. So let's get started with these plantains. So what I like to do is cut off both ends of the plantain. And then we just slice right down the back of the plantain just to get the peel off. And the peel comes off pretty easy. And if you haven't seen a plantain before, it looks a little bit like a banana. But the texture of it almost is more like a soft potato or even like yuca.
Yummy.
So after we've taken the peel off, I just like to slice on diagonal. And then once you got that sliced up, we're gonna get that in a cast iron skillet with some butter and a little brown sugar. Let that saute, and those plantains will be ready to go.
This cast iron is screaming for some butter, so I had to do it. But it's plant butter, so it's much healthier, but still flavorful. It's all I use in my house. Your guests will never know the difference, and neither will your food. Then we add our brown sugar, give that a good stir. Then we slide them plantains into the pan and let them brown on both sides. I like mine a little dark. Don't be scared of the brown. The browner the plantain, the sweeter the fruit. I'm such a cornball, but I'm right though. Now it's time for some dessert. For our pound cake, you want to start with a boxed pineapple cake mix, 4 eggs because it's a pound cake, 1 packet of coconut instant pudding, 2/3 cup of coconut milk, and 1/3 cup of coconut rum. Careful, this batter will get you pregnant. I'm just playing. Or am I?
As I mentioned earlier, we're gonna be making a pina colada pound cake parfait. And I don't wanna just glaze over that because when I think about flavors that taste like home, pina colada is one of those flavors that is signature. When you think about the influences of the Latin influences and the Bahamian influences, coconut, pineapple, they just make sense and they taste so damn good. So as you probably realize, some of the ingredients for this cake are a little unorthodox, a little different, but it's what makes this cake so special. So in order to make it a pound cake, what I've done is add an extra egg, and then I've added that coconut pudding. And again, we got pina colada, we need pineapple, and we need coconut. They need to be married together. And then also, instead of using just water or just milk, we've got coconut milk mixed with coconut rum. And that really gives it that Latin, that Miami influence. So let's go ahead and combine the ingredients. So we'll take our cake mix and our pudding mix, get those in the bowl together. Then we'll take our 4 eggs. Our coconut milk. And then the coconut rum. And then we'll just mix that up together. say, if it smells good, it eats good. And this already smells great.
Once your cake batter is nice and smooth, you want to get into a springform pan, because springform pans ain't just for cheesecakes, you know. It'll give your cake a nice even layer, and when it cools, it's easier to remove from the pan. Try it. It changed the pound cake game for me.
Now that we've got our cake batter in our pan, I just like to tap it to get the air bubbles out before we put it in the oven. After you do that, we're gonna get it in the oven, 350 for 35 minutes. So we're gonna continue building on those layers for our parfait. The next layer, of course, is the cream. So we're gonna be using a vanilla pudding mix and then 2 cups of ice cold milk. And you're just gonna whisk that up until it starts to thicken a little bit. And once that mix has nicely dissolved, we're gonna get it in the refrigerator for about 10 minutes and then it'll be firm. So if y'all remember that cake that we made from earlier, I want you to see that consistency. It really is just like a pound cake. So now we're gonna build our parfait with it. We're gonna start with our vanilla pudding at the bottom of our dish. Then we'll take some of that pound cake. Just gonna wanna cover up that bottom layer of pudding. Then we're gonna add some more pudding to the top of that cake so it can soak through. Then we're gonna go with our pineapples. Then some walnuts on top of that. And a dollop of whipped cream.
What's a signature dish that either your mom or your dad is known for? And that question's from David.
For my mom's yams recipe, you'll need 4 medium sweet potatoes peeled, 8 tablespoons of butter, 3 cups of sugar, a tablespoon of cinnamon, 1 tablespoon of nutmeg, 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Growing up, no family function was complete without my mama's yams. She made them so much I grew tired of the smell and taste of them. But she generated new fans every time she cooked them. When I first took Tasha to formally meet my parents, my mom made a full spread, which of course included her candied yams. Tasha was an instant fan. This recipe is the first manifestation of her signature dish in print form. And though they're quite amazing, having mom make them for you herself is even more heavenly. You want to take a sharp knife and chop your sweet potatoes into medallions about a 1/4 inch thick. In a medium pot, layer some of the potatoes, a few pads of butter, sugar, vanilla, and spices. Repeat until all the ingredients are in the pot. Cover with the lid and cook on low heat until the sugar melts. Continue to simmer on low to medium heat for approximately 45 minutes or until tender. Remove lid and continue to simmer for the sauce to thicken. And then you get to eat them. And then you get to take a nap. And then you wake up and you eat some more.
Look at this plate. It looks just like home. And it smells like home too. I don't even know where to start. You got this fried cabbage, you got these sweet plantains, them shrimp fritters looking oh so right with that copycat sauce, and this pina colada pound cake parfait. I think I'm gonna start with this cabbage. And it tastes like home too. I don't know what y'all about to do, but I'm about to dig into the rest of this. I'll see y'all next time.
Miami.